I immigrated to the United States in the early 80s, and diet in Korea was, for the most part, healthy as my mom cooked most foods from home, and we really didn't have many fast food options in the 70s in Korea. When we did immigrate, McDonald's was a major treat for us. The Big Mac with fries was our favorite meal, and I can still remember how amazing the Big Mac was to our Korean palate. In Korea, our diet included lots of fermented and seasoned vegetables with meats. Stews with rice was a staple in every meal. Kimchi stew with spam meal was a treat for us. And that's what I grew up on. Lots of fruits, seasoned vegetables, meats, McDonald's, rice, and really kimchi. And because my parents were hardworking immigrants, they weren't around much. We called ourselves the latchkey kids. Dietary concerns were the least of our problems. I grew up on public school lunches and fast foods during high school. Then in college, I became interested in nutrition. So I majored in nutrition in grad school, which took me to Loma Linda University, one of the 5 blue zones in the world, where people live healthy longer than the rest of the population. So in studying nutrition, we break foods up into carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. We were taught to calculate the foods into numbers of calories, which translated into glycemic index. This was important as diabetes was on the rise. We learned about the recommended dietary allowance, also known as RDA, which is the average daily intake sufficient to meet the nutrient requirements of about 97 to 98% of healthy people in the United States. But now I understand how outdated and inaccurate this information is, as it is very general, claiming to meet the needs of nearly all Americans. For one, I myself am not an average American, so I found that it was not true reflection of my needs. Second, it also doesn't serve the majority of my patients, as we all have different medical diagnoses, symptoms, and needs. Third, it doesn't take into account the lifestyles and health status of Americans. And I would say that the majority of Americans today are in some way sick or have suboptimal health. This is largely due to our food supply, exposure to, and the common belief system around what is considered healthy or unhealthy. To add to this, nutrition information is far too confusing today, with the internet advocating various diets with lofty claims to resolve various symptoms. So what are you to eat? Well, as a nutrition fanatic, I used to follow just about any information that the experts put out. They all had different views and spoke with so much authority that I felt compelled to listen and apply what they said in my life. I assumed they knew better and I didn't. But the truth was that I applied the information into my life, one diet after another, with the hope of recovering from lupus. I realized each diet had limitations. Not all diets were sustainable. They had their place, but they needed to be something that proved beneficial as well as something I could easily maintain. But food is so much more than just what we eat. It's memories, it's connection. It's relationship, it's celebration, it's joy, sadness, stages of life, and it implies so much more. For example, when I eat a Big Mac, I have certain feelings about a certain time of my life. It reminds me of my childhood. The Spam kimchi stew is a comfort food for me, although I can't handle fermented vegetables anymore. And there are other foods that are much more than food. They're feelings, like I said, memories and comfort. So today I have a healthier outlook in the way I eat food. I believe you should be entitled to a birthday cake every so often. Celebrating with foods that you love is a healthy thing in life. Eating food should be all about creating healthy balance. I think it's when we become addicted to foods and use food to manage our stress, feelings, or can't control our urge is when we become highly toxic. Most of us know generally what foods are bad and good. We also have strong attachments to our foods. But once you experience how much better you can feel with simple changes in your food choices, most of our patients are transformed in the way they eat, and they can't have imagined a better life. Also, when you experience a wake-up call like I did with the medical diagnoses, it prompts you to reevaluate all that you're doing in your life. Food is just one aspect. So what is alkaline diet? You all know the Whole30. Eating whole, real foods for 30 days is all the rage. I love that something so healthy caught on and we're embracing our healthier lives. It's all about eating foods that come from Mother Nature versus concocted in a chemical lab. Eating mindfully is key to understanding how your body responds to the nourishment that food provides. For example, although I love Korean food, when I eat kimchi, my stomach bloats and produces painful cramps. I have too many bad bugs in my small intestine that react with kimchi. Same is true when I have gluten. I get cramps and end up having the runs. This prevents me from wanting to eat it, as the result is not so pleasant. I do at times need an emotional fix, so I do have a bit of kimchi when eating out with my parents, and without fail, it's caused an unfavorable result, so it's so much easier for me to refrain. Alkaline diet is all about paying attention to your body's reaction to foods and only eating foods that makes you feel good. Generally, it's eating a diet rich in vegetables with limited fruits that are in season. Eating everything in moderation. Stop eating when partially full to make sure you don't overeat to cause discomfort. Providing enough time between your first and the last meal of the day to promote intermittent fasting up to 15 hours, allowing time for your body and digestive system to rest. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day, ideally half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Eliminating processed foods and high sugar foods. Drinking caffeine in moderation, limit to 2 cups of coffee per day if you drink that. And sitting and eating mindfully without being preoccupied with electronic devices. And opting for organic produce and meats grown sustainably. There's also different diets for different symptoms. There is the elimination diet for acute symptom phases, anti-inflammatory diets for when you're struggling with various symptoms of inflammation, keto diets for those who respond favorably, and paleo for those who can't tolerate grain, and lastly, FODMAP diet for those who are working through food sensitivities. Working with our nutrition therapist will allow you to get to your goals fast. Using food as medicine, our nutritionist can help you make sense of your food choices to ensure great results. So call us today, 678-335-5566. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to our newsletter on alkalinewellness.com. Like us on Facebook, Alkaline Wellness. Follow us on Instagram at Alkaline Wellness. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dr. Connie Jian. See you guys next time.